Welcome in here, out there, Mr. and Mrs. America and all the ships at sea, to The Late Show. I am your host, Stephen Colbert, and there is, everybody knows, everybody's heard this big news from Washington, D.C. today, because this just happened this afternoon, right? Just a little while ago, Mitch McConnell announced he will step down as the Senate's Republican leader. But, is this true? He's not stepping down till November, because at 82, that's how long it takes him to step. McConnell made his announcement on the Senate floor and then took a fond shamble down memory lane.
My career in the United States Senate began amidst the Reagan Revolution. The truth is, when I got here, I was just happy if anybody remembered my name. President Reagan called me Mitch O'Donnell. Close enough, I thought.
Well, that's very big of you, bitch o'dumbnuts. It's not very nice. That's not very nice. The smart choice. I've had my differences with Mitch McConnell over the years, that's no secret, but the truth is, he's an old man. He's served in our Senate for almost 4 decades. And so I just want to put aside politics for a moment and say sincerely, Yesterday, both parties held their primaries in the great state of Michigan. And on the Democratic... Yeah! Yes, thank you. And on the Democratic side, Biden won with 81% of the vote. 81%. 1% for every year he's been alive. And God help us, that joke works. Coming in second place behind Biden was uncommitted with 13.3%. Now, this was the result of an organized campaign to register discontent about Biden's policies on Israel and was designed to be a warning from progressives, young voters, and Arab American Democrats. So these are people who previously supported Biden, just wanted to send him a message to change his behavior. It's like how you would tell a child, you can't have dessert until you clean your room and figure out who gets Jerusalem. The next highest vote getter was Marianne Williamson, who got 3%, even though she had already dropped out of the race. That showing inspired her to unsuspend her campaign today. I mean, that's the ultimate proof that she's an optimist. She always sees the glass as 3% full. Williamson beat out a candidate who is still in the race, Dean Phillips, who got 2.7%. Afterwards, Phillips tweeted, "If you resent me for the audacity to challenge Joe Biden, at least you'll appreciate how relatively strong I'm making him look among primary voters." Yep. That's like a guy saying to his ex, "Hey, you got to admit, thanks to me, sex with your new boyfriend must seem pretty great." Huh? Huh? Now, but Dino, buddy, I can tell you're feeling low, so let's have a little talk. Hey, pal. Sometimes in life you take a big swing and it just doesn't work out. We've all had times when we put ourselves out there and then lost to a protest vote and a lady who wasn't running. You might feel like you don't want to show your face right now, but you listen to me, Dean Phillips. You go out there and you hold your head up high because no one knows what your face looks like. Stay strong. Now, everybody hurts tonight. Over on the Republican side, Donald Trump easily beat Nikki Haley, but there were some warning signs for him. In every primary so far, Trump has done significantly worse than the polls predicted ahead of time. In Iowa, he underperformed by 2 points. In New Hampshire, it was 7 points. In South Carolina, he did worse by 8 points. And last night, he underperformed by 15 points. If this trend continues by November, he will get negative 23% of the vote. Yes. Or as he calls it, total victory. As usual, Trump did particularly badly with college-educated voters, possibly because they all had to take the prereq course, Poli-Sci 101, Intro to Don't Vote for Hitler. There's also good news. Sure, no Hitler. There's good news about the government. We still have one. Because it's just this afternoon, right? This afternoon, lawmakers reached a deal to avert a U.S. government shutdown. That's nice. But didn't we just do this 3 other times in the last 6 months? Why are we celebrating something that should always happen? It's like a school principal getting on the PA and saying, good news, students, today's lunch, food. What the deal does not have in it is any funding for Ukraine, thanks to House Speaker and evil Simon Chipmunk, Mike Johnson. Now, the President of the United States, Senate Republicans and Democrats all support funding Ukraine. So yesterday, there was a big meeting at the White House where Johnson was cornered on Ukraine aid by Chuck Schumer, President Biden, and Mitch McConnell. They gave Johnson the old good cop, old cop, might be dead cop. The entire free world is behind helping Ukraine. Now, this week, the foreign minister of Poland addressed Johnson directly, saying, I'd like Mike Johnson to know that the whole world is watching, and if the bill were not to pass and Ukraine was to suffer reversals on the battlefield, it will be his responsibility. Adding, I cannot believe the fate of the world rests in the hands of a man whose son gets phone alert when he's, say, rubbing mustard on his kielbasa. Now, kielbasu, delicious kielbasu. On top of that, 23 European parliaments have sent Mike Johnson an open letter urging him to provide aid for Ukraine. 23 countries. The only thing that unites Europeans more than Mike Johnson are weird stand-up toilets and pants tight enough to show the outline of your Mike Johnson. Now, it is no mystery, in case you're wondering, why Republicans in Congress don't support Ukraine, and the reason is called Donald Trump. He loves him some Putin, and we found out just how much he loves him from former Australian Prime Minister Malcolm Turnbull, seen here trying to discreetly determine if his finger smells like butt. No. Discreetly. That's discreetly. Turnbull was on an Australian news show, and he described his experience at international summits watching Trump meet Putin.
I've been with Trump and Putin. Trump is in awe of Putin. When you see Trump with Putin, as I have on a few occasions, he's like the 12-year-old boy that goes to high school and meets the captain of the football team. My hero. It is really creepy.
Okay, that is an insulting comparison to 12-year-old boys. If one of them, if a 12-year-old boy met Putin, he wouldn't idolize him. He would look him straight in the eye and say, wait, we're the same height? But if you want to see the Russian influence in the Republican Party, look no further than their sham impeachment of Joe Biden, which they hope to accomplish by first attacking Hunter Biden. Hunter was on Capitol Hill today to testify in front of the impeachment committee. Now, we don't know what he said, but we do know that the GOP case is imploding thanks to their star witness, Alexander Smirnov, seen here, not being seen here. Back in 2020, Smirnov told his FBI handler that he could testify that the owner of the Ukrainian energy company Burisma had arranged to pay $5 million bribes to both President Biden and his son Hunter. Okay, that's what you'd call a smoking gun, okay, if it were smoking, or a gun. Turns out it was just a finger, and yes, smells like butt. Now, worth it right there. Now, back then, the FBI warned Republicans this information was unverified, but that did not stop them from staking their entire case on this clown ski. Now, it turns out that might have been an oopsie daisy because now Smirnov has been charged with lying to the FBI and creating false records and has admitted that he had been fed information about Hunter Biden from Russia's intelligence services. The Republicans in Congress trying to impeach the President of the United States based on false information piped directly into Capitol Hill by the Kremlin. At any other point in human history, this would be a scandal of such magnitude and gravity that it would tilt the Earth off its orbit around the sun. But you don't hear much about it because half of the media in the United States is focused on the scandal of old man is old and likes ice cream. Now, I like ice cream too. Now that their star witness is behind bars, House Republicans are backpedaling like a tweaked-out circus bear on a unicycle. Until last week, keep in mind, until last week, they called this man a trusted, highly credible informant who was a very crucial piece of their investigation. But now this is what they're saying.
He wasn't an important part of the case, but it was a tip that we should investigate.
Talking about Smirnov, he's part of this puzzle. He's a very small piece, right?
Yeah, he's a macro piece.
Bad news, fellas. There's no such thing as a micro piece of Russian spy. If your hot dog has even a micro piece of turd, it's a turd dog. They're all turd dogs. We got a great show for you tonight. My guests are Chris Hayes and Carrie Preston. But when we come back, I've got some great news. There's plenty of stupid in other countries as well. Stick around.